Now we're going to look at how in Go, how you could create your own types. And this is very interesting. And when I first started learning about the Go programming language, people would sometimes say to me that Go is all about types. And I didn't understand what they meant. And by the end of this course, you will totally understand what is meant by that statement, that Go is all about type. And it's kind of interesting to think about it because it's a static programming language. And at the heart of a static programming language is this idea that once you declare that a variable is of a certain type, that's static. It doesn't change. So even right there, the heart of a static programming language, it's about type. It's about type. You declare a variable is of this type, it doesn't change. So you're going to get a really solid understanding of what it means throughout this course that Go is all about type. Bill Kennedy says type is life. And he said if he ever got a tattoo, it'd be type is life. And I kind of want to do a Kickstarter actually to raise a couple $100 so we could get Bill Kennedy tattooed with type is life, preferably across his back, really large letters. That'd be awesome. Type is life. But Go is all about type. And so one of the ways that it's about type is that it's a static programming language. So when you declare variables of a certain type, that doesn't change. It's always of that type. But another way that Go is about type is that you could create your own type. You could create your own type. So we're going to learn a little bit about creating your own type and then the difference between conversion and casting. We're going to learn about that in the next video. We learn about conversion versus casting. So I'm going to clear this out here so we could start over. Just hit refresh and enter and bring it back up fresh. And Go is all about type. So we could declare that we have var a int is equal to 42. And we could also declare, or we could just do this, var a is an int, and we could do a is equal to 42. And then we could print that out. A is equal to 42, and we could also find out its type. So we could do a printf, and we could do our format printing verb, %t, to find out its type and provide a new line at the end of it, and then assign this variable to that space in our string here that we're putting together, and we could run that, format it, and run it. And 42 is of type int. Cool. Well, we could also do this. Type hot dog is an int. Now we just created our own type. That type is hot dog, and the underlying type is an int. So we could come down here, or we could go up here, and we could do var b hot dog, and we could say b is equal to 43. And now we could copy all this, and we could go b, and format it and run. Now we've got 42 is of type int, and 43 is of type hot dog from package main. So just like pause and let your mind implode there for a second. But we have created our own type, and we've created a variable, we've declared a variable is of that type, and we've assigned a value to that variable, right? And so we have our own type. And now if your mind is like rebelling against this a little bit because you've worked in other languages, again, Zen mind, right? Zen mind, beginner's mind, open up to new possibilities. We are innovators. It's sometimes hard to embrace change and accept change, but just open up to this idea that we could create our own type. We could create our own type. Now, Go is static. It's a static programming language. So can I come down here and do A is equal to B, like assign B to A? You cannot do this. And the reason you cannot do this is because those are two different types. And if I have declared that A is an int and B is of type hot dog, then we can't take something of type hot dog and assign it to something that stores type int. Those are two different types. And in a static programming language, you do not dynamically change. When you've declared that a variable is of this type, you do not then willy-nilly, later, the next day, the next line of your code, you don't willy-nilly say, yeah, I know I said that was an int before, but now I'm going to store a string in it. You can't do it. Type. Type. It's static. It doesn't change. A stores an int. And so when I try to store a hot dog in A, it's going to blow up. And it's going to say, cannot use B type hot dog as type int in assignment on line 20. So it doesn't like that, so I can't do that. There is a way around this. So I'm gonna comment, I'm gonna reproduce this code right here. I'm gonna take that out for a second. And I'm gonna get a link to share. Let me just paste that code right there. I'm gonna get a link to share and copy that and drop this into our notes. And we can create our own type in Go. And then come down here and put in that URL. And then in the next video, I'm going to show you how we could actually get this assignment right here. And let me get that code right here and drop it back in. And format A equals B, format, and then format. I'm going to show how we could make this work in the next video.